Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Here I am on the question of your oversubscription with the prorata allotment here. What's given in the question? The company actually issued 1,50,000 share, but the public applied for 2,50,000 share. When public is applying for 2,50,000 shares, that means public is paying application money of ₹2 on 2,50,000 shares. How allotment was made to them, to these 2,50,000 shares, how 1,50,000 shares were allotted, that is given to us. That in the category 1, 50,000 shares were allotted nothing. In the category 2, 80,000 shares were allotted 80,000. In the category 3, 1,20,000 shares were allotted 70,000 shares. That what it meant is, out of total 2,50,000 applications received, the company could allot maximum what it issued, that was 1,50,000. How they were allotted? First 50,000 shares were given nothing. Next 80,000 shares were given actually the 80,000 shares, and rest 1,20,000 shares were given 70,000 shares. That means who has applied for 12 shares was given only 7 shares. So here they have applied for excess number of shares, but they were allotted less number of shares. The ratio of pro rata allotment was 12:7. Who has applied for 12 was given 7 number of shares here. And he says that excess money is to be adjusted towards allotment. So let's see how this is to be done in the journal. First of all, you will be receiving what? Bank would be debited for what? Share application money. So when you are to receive the share application money, without your knowledge, the people are applying, and when the people are applying, the total applications were received for how many number of shares? 2,50,000 shares. So the company received 2,50,000 applications with application money of ₹2 per share. How much total amount was received? That was ₹5 lakh here. Now, out of this 5 lakh, we have to decide upon how much is to be carried forward, how much is to be transferred to the capital, and how much is to be refunded. So total application money, equity share application account debit was with 5 lakh rupees here. On 2,50,000 we received 2, so it was debited with 5 lakh rupees. Now we have to give a credit for equity share capital account. And when you are giving a credit for equity share capital account, that could only be with the number of shares issued by the firm. Here, how many number of shares were issued by the company? They were 1,50,000. So capital could be transferred with 1,50,000 and ₹2 on application. So it could go only with ₹3 lakh. Now the rest he says to whom the shares were not given, their money should be refunded because they are not allotted something. So you need to make a refund to the people whom you are not giving any shares. They were 50,000 shares, given no shares, but they applied in your company with application money, so their money needs to be refunded. So now here it's clear that out of your 5 lakh rupees, your 3 lakh and 1 lakh are adjusted, so calls in advance should be 1 lakh rupees. But how to know that calls in advance are 1 lakh? So you know that we have to multiply this by 2 because application money we are adjusting and application money per share was ₹2. So excess number of share, let's say over here, that in category 3 who had applied for 1,20,000 shares was allotted 70,000 share. How many excess share he applied for? 50,000 number of shares. So on 50,000 number of shares, how much was the calls in advance with ₹2? That is 1 lakh rupees here. So this is my second journal without preparing prorata table. If you want to prepare prorata table, you can prepare that also. What prorata table is prepared in what sense? Number of applications received, number of applications allotted, that is given in the questions, and then application money received, and then application money adjusted. Right, how it is to be taken, let's see. What had happened with the form? First of all, just go step by step. The people applied for the number of shares 50,000, 80,000 and 1,20,000. Column number 1, total number of shares applied were 2,50,000 here, right? Now, when they are applying with the number of shares, they paid us application money. So, column number 1 multiplied by 2. How much money is received? 50,000 into 2, 1 lakh rupees are received. 80,000 into 2, 1 lakh 60,000 rupees received. 1 lakh 20 into 2, 2 lakh 40,000 rupees is received. How much is the total value with which we receive the money? That is 5 lakh rupees. See here. Bank account debit to share application account. How much total money is received? 5 lakh rupees. This is coming from column number 3 of your prorata table. 5 lakh rupees. You can do the same without preparing your prorata table also, or if you want, you can prepare it. Right? Now, number of shares allotted. First column nil, second column 80,000. Third column 70,000. That's how 1,50,000 becomes. This is your number, right? Now this second column is to be multiplied by rupees 2 per share application in this case. That is received with the column number 2 multiplied by 2. Application money here is received nothing. To be adjusted nothing, sorry. What we have to say, adjusted nothing, because they were allotted 0 number of shares. So 0 multiplied by 2 is 0. Now 80,000 shares multiplied by 2, how much is to be adjusted? 160. 70,000 multiplied by 2, how much is to be adjusted? 140. So how much was adjusted here? Rupees 3 lakh. So see how much adjustment was done. Equity share capital with rupees 3 lakh. You can do it directly also, number of shares issued multiplied by application money, or you can consider it from your column number 4. Now next is, what is the excess money here? First, shares on which 1 lakh was received, nothing was adjusted, so total 1 lakh is excess that needs to be refunded. How much we are refunding? 1 lakh rupees. See, refund is of rupees 1 lakh. Next case, there is nothing to be excess here. Next case, the excess value is of 1 lakh. This excess value we treated as calls in advance here, right? So this is how prorata table works for your these columns. Column number 4 we took for equity share capital. Column number 6 we took for your refund. This was 6, this was 4. And this was 3, and if we have to prepare column number 7, that would go for your calls in advance here. So if you want to prepare prorata table, it's your wish. You can carry along without table also. I have done that for you. Now the next point is when we have to make a due for equity share allotment. The entry goes equity share allotment account debit to equity share capital account. Now equity share allotment can be made due on how many number of shares? That is number of shares issued by the company. How many shares were issued? 150. So 1,50,000. What is the value of allotment? 8 rupees. So here we have gone with the 8 rupees. So the value to be transferred to allotment is of rupees 12 lakh, right? So it is the value with rupees 12 lakh, 1,50,000 multiplied by 8. Allotment is due with rupees, what rupees? 8 per share, so that is 12 lakh. Now when we were to receive our allotment, bank account debit allotment account. Equity share allotment was due with rupees 12 lakh. So we made a due with 12 lakh is to be received. But out of this 12 lakh, how much is already received here? 1 lakh. Right? Cause in advance already exists with us. With how much value? That is rupees 1 lakh. So 1 lakh it adjusted. How much over and excess left over here is to be receivable in your bank amount. That is your balancing figure. The leftover amount is 11 lakh, which we received in our allotment. Out of the allotment of 12 lakh, when we asked them to pay the allotment, there were the people who say that we have already paid in advance. So they won't pay you again. So that is debited now, and after that the leftover amount is received by the company. Right? So this is how the case of your share application oversubscription case is done. How the different allotments are there, how to do the journal without preparing prorata table. If you want to prepare the prorata table, how it is to be carried there, how the calls in advance are to be adjusted, that is also made clarified to you. But one thing more which I want to highlight over here, because I have finished with this, so I can tell you another way out, that is if you don't want to write it over here calls in advance, right? Then another word you can write is to equity share allotment account, right? So here rather than calls in advance, another word used is equity share allotment. So equity share allotment is debited with how much value? Credited with how much value? 1 lakh. If you are not writing calls in advance, you can also write equity share allotment. So this fourth entry will change them. How it will change? Equity share allotment account won't be credited with 12 lakh, rather it would be credited with 11 lakh rupees, and the bank value would be debited also with 11 lakh. Why? Let's see. We have credited it with 1 lakh, debited it with 12 lakh. Debit is 12, credit is 1. How much more credit is needed? 11 lakh. So how much value is received? 11 lakh. So see here and here, only the difference is of this, that here we opened the calls in advance, so we debited the calls in advance. If you are not opening the calls in advance account, then from allotment you can take a deduction of 1 and crediting with the balance, and you will receive your bank amount same. So you can opt for any of the way out, no issues. I will make the more clarifications with the more questions there. So this is finished for the day. Thank you, Accountancy. Like, share and subscribe. Keep scoring.